Hello, boys and girls. I'd like to review one of our more challenging lessons from Unit 4. We've been working with percentages. Finding parts or percentages of whole numbers was not something that challenged us too much. It was doable. However, finding the whole number value based on a value that represents a percentage of it, that was difficult. Trying to find what the whole number represented, knowing the part. You had a fairly easy time determining the value of a part based on the whole number, but determining the value of the whole number based on a part, that was not as easy. And this was a lesson in which I didn't explicitly teach you how to solve this. Not until the second, maybe the third day. And you know what? Nearly all of you, not all of you, but I would say a fair amount, well, nearly all of you were able to come up with a strategy for solving this. And some of them were very different from mine. I remember Collins and Yeager's, very different. Suhas's sure was different. Saiji and Arjun had different ways. Alexandra, she used algebraic way that I used. And that was with minimal teaching of algebra to her. But I did eventually teach you how to solve this algebraically. Anyhow, I'd like to use this time to review some of my thinking and how I would solve this problem. Determine the amount of whole based on a value that represents a percentage of it. That's what I want you to be able to do. Determine the amount of a whole number based on a value that represents or is equal to a percentage of it. So, we did this lesson in the context of understanding affordability. We want to be able to understand, or we say to ourselves this: I can afford to put a $12,000 down payment. I can afford to put a $27,000 down payment. That's what I can afford. And I'm going to make that 10% of the home's value. So what is the home's value? Well, how much of a home should I start? What kind of home value should I start looking at? And so we started with a statement. This is where I kind of started my instruction, which was minimal. And I said to myself, the money that I've saved up is 10% of what? That's kind of vague. That has really doesn't really mean that much. But if we put it into maybe a deeper context, the money that I've saved up, this is my down payment. My down payment is the money that I've saved up. My down payment is 10% of what number? I'll repeat that again. My down payment represents 10%. My down payment is $27,000. That's 10% of what number? I have a visual here to show you. We've worked with circles before. I like to work with squares in this case. $27,000 is represented by 10%. $27,000 is also 1/10. That's what $27,000 is equal to. 1/10. We have to know that's what this means. The money that I've saved up, hey, just call it your down payment. Your down payment, $27,000, is 10%. So what is 100%? If $27,000 is 1/10, then what is 10/10? This is what I'm trying to get you to understand in class, boys and girls, is that by asking questions, you can slowly start walking toward a correct solution. It doesn't mean me showing you a strategy explicitly right away. It's you solving and taking ownership of this. So, the down payment that I've saved up, my down payment is 10% of what number? My down payment is $27,000. Let's start working with this. $27,000 is equal to 1/10. So what is 10/10? A lot of you mentally were able to figure out, these types of problems with 10 and 20%. But I'm trying to just conceptually show you what's taking place here. This home on the right side you see here, it is worth $270,000. That's what 10/10 of $27,000 is. Okay, if $27,000 is 1/10, then 10/10 is $270,000. Now, how do we get to that answer? That's a question. Let's solve this out. I've split this home up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 equal pieces. Okay? Each of these pieces represents 1/10 of the home. Each of these 10 pieces represents 1/10 of the home's value. My down payment is $27,000. This represents my down payment. This, boys and girls, is $27,000. That's another $27,000. This is 1/10 and 2/10. I'm going to add another 10th. This is 3/10. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. And this represents $27,000, another $27,000, and another $27,000. This is going to represent another $27,000. What do I know so far? Let's ask that question. What do we know? We know that this is 1/10. We know that this is the second 10th. We know that this is 3/10. We know that this is 4/10. And we know that 4/10 is equal to, let's see, this is 27,000 plus another 27,000 plus another 27,000, okay, plus another 27,000. What we do know, and I'm just going to multiply 27,000 by 4. We do know that 4/10 is equal to 108,000. Okay, I could then double that and say that 8/10 would be equal to $216,000. We want to find 10/10. Okay? 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, $216,000. Let's take the 9/10 and the 10/10. Now we have 10/10. But let's add another $27,000 twice. 27,000, 27,000. 216,000 plus 27,000. If you don't believe me, I'll show you on the calculator. 216,000 plus 27,000 is equal to 243,000. That's 9/10. And plus the last 10th over here, plus another 27,000, is equal to $270,000. This was one way to solve a problem like this. In the next video, I'm going to show you another way that involves algebra. Stay tuned.